Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study the Emperor. It is among one of the most important cards in Major Arcana. The Emperor is card number 4 and it represents structure, authority, stability, and leadership. In my previous video, when I was talking about the Empress, so I told you that the Empress talks about creation and nurturing. And this card, the Emperor, speaks about order and control. Together, they both balance each other. So, I have also written some of the keywords that we use to understand the card. On the video, you can see that. Now, let's start to understand the overall energy of this card. So, this card, the Emperor, basically represents a person or energy that believes in rules. Okay, rules, systems, and responsibility. This is not an emotional power. This is actually a practical power. The power to organize, to protect, the power to create boundaries, and to lead. All right. So in order to understand this card properly, you have to understand the small elements that are present in the card, the symbol and the elements in the card properly. So the first, if you look at the Emperor itself, you can see that he is seated very properly and not standing. This represents that his authority is established and it's not temporary. He does not need to prove his powers, it already exists. Next, notice the stone thorn. The stone in the throne of the emperor represents a strong foundation. This tells us that he basically believes in building things that last long. He doesn't believe in temporary things. It can be, anything. It can be a relationship, it can be a career, or institution, or businesses, anything. So whenever this card appears in your reading, it tells that the stability and practical thought process is more important than emotional mindset. This card is all about logic and practical thing. Okay, now you can see on the throne there are ram heads. Okay, so this ram heads, you can see these both are the sign of Aries, the first sign of zodiac. So this Aries energy basically represent initiative, leadership, action, and courage. So if I sum up all these things, and this tell us that Emperor doesn't wait. He acts on a very strong and practical ground and with a very calculative and logical mindset. His actions are very calculative and not at all impulsive and emotional. Now, if you can see the crown on his head, the crown is very tough. It looks very tough, made up of stones, and it basically symbolizes authority and decision making power. So when this card appears in your reading, whatever the question, the situation is, it often indicates that it often indicates, or it often talks about someone who holds a position of command. Maybe, a father figure, a boss, a manager, or a government authority, or even, the disciplined part of yourself. Okay. Now, you can see the emperor is wearing armor under his robes. What does it mean? These are the very important details that you have to look in order to, understand the overall energy and meaning of the card. So the armor under his robes, it tells us that even though he looks calm and composed, he is always prepared to act. He is very mentally strong. He believes in boundaries, protection, and self control, but he is always prepared to act. So there is a red robe you can see he wears. So what does red color represents? This red color represents passion, ambition, and life force. So he is very ambitious, he is very passionate towards his work, and he has a power to live a life in his masculine energy. Now look at the background. If you will look at the background, there are barren mountains and dry lands, and there is a very tiny river in a blue form, very tiny, that is flowing in the bottom of the card. So, what this landscape, defines overall, the mountains basically decodes hurdles in your life. Okay, so if you will compose all these pictures, this mountain and this barren land and this water, it says that the success doesn't come easily here. If you want success, if growth happens, if you really want to be successful, or you want to grow in certain um, thing or certain area of your life, then you have to put effort, structure, and you have to organize everything. You have to put a lot of efforts, and you have to be very consistent. Okay, and also it's not about uh, no, it's not about very becoming very practical, but you have to keep your emotions in a control. So when you will keep your emotion in a control way, and you put a lot of efforts, and you structurize, organize things, and you are consistent, a persistency is there, then only you are able to achieve whatever you want in your life. So this card basically tells us that sometimes we must do what is necessary and not what feels easy. Now understand, so there are two type of meaning in the cards. So one is upside and the downside. Downside, you mean to say reversed. Okay, so whenever we do reading and we shuffle the cards, if this card appears in the upright of upright, then what are the meanings that you can then what are the meanings that you can think? So the upright meaning, as you can also see in the keywords that I have written, is leadership, discipline, authority, stability, logic, protection, and responsibility. And whenever this card appears in your reading, reverse, not reverse, but upright meaning, it can tell you that take control of your life, Set clear boundaries, create structure and routine, step into a leadership role, make decisions based on logics and not emotions. Okay. And sometimes also this card, if this card appears in the, it asks you to be firm and consistent in your effort. Now we will look into the reversed meaning. Sometimes the card appears in a reversed form. So whenever this card appears in the reversed form in your reading, it can indicate abuse of power, mainly the abuse of power, lack of discipline and structure in the life, control issues, rigidity, and dominance without compassion. In some cases, it can also, point to someone like a weak authority figure, someone who is into the leadership, uh, into the leadership position, into the authority position, but he is not able to, use his authority. He's scared. He had struggles. Sometimes we came across people who are into the authority position, who are into a very, upper position, but they struggle with self discipline and with power. So whenever this card appears in the reverse form, it it asks you to examine that, are you controlling too much or avoiding responsibility, or you are scared of using your powers. So if this card appears in reverse form, it can ask you to step into the real power of yours. Do not get scared of being feeling powerful. Okay. So there are other spiritual meaning of this card also. So you know uh, so the overall energy of this card is basically authority, stability, confidence, responsibility. And the one, if I have to summarize, is the one final lesson the card says that the true power comes from responsibility, not from skipping the responsibility, but to accepting your responsibilities and work towards in an organized and structured way. Okay.